I'm going to be taking a very big risk. I'm going to be helping a 17-year-old building and launching an app from scratch for all of you to see real time how it's done. Many of you may not know who I am. I want to give you a quick introduction. Over the last 5 years, me and my team have built over 250 apps, ranging from startups like the YouTuber Eric building Creator Now, all the way into enterprise clients that we've helped build platforms for that are used at mass scale. In the next 30 days, I'm going to be flipping everything on its head, because for the first time, I'm going to be taking you behind the scenes, showing you exactly how I go from finding an idea, validating it, designing it, building it, and finally launching it. And let me be clear, none of this is scripted. I do not know the outcome of this series. For all I know, this could end in a complete disaster and make me look like a fool. When I started this challenge, I knew that I didn't want to do this alone. And so I put out a tweet, and basically I was looking for applicants for people that could be the star of this series, for somebody that could take the reins and help me build an app as we launch it together in public. And I got dozens of applicants ranging from people all over the world, all different backgrounds and ages, etc. But there was one application that stood out to me. That was Damon. Damon is a 17-year-old who lives in Toronto, which happens to be the same city that I'm in. But more than that, his story really resonated with me. He's shown that he's been able to overcome adversities and continue to come out with a positive light at the end of the tunnel. Damon is a second-gen immigrant. His parents moved to Canada to provide a better life for him and his family. Damon was able to witness all that firsthand, seeing his parents struggle as they rebuilt their life in Canada. But things took a turn that would shape Damon's life forever. Unfortunately, when Damon was just a kid, his mom was diagnosed with cancer and sadly passed away not too long after. And honestly, I didn't know this when I was going through the applicants. Obviously, that's not something I'm gonna naturally ask somebody or find out right away. But it was the first time I met Damon, and I really got to sit down and talk to him and understand who he was, where he was able to open up and share that with me. What I found was most interesting about this and most surprising is that you would never expect somebody like Damon to go through such a hard time, because he's one of the most positive, energetic people I've ever met. And especially for a 17-year-old, you can see how much brightness he sees for his future and doesn't use any of the negatives in his life to draw him back. In fact, it's clear he's done quite the opposite. He's taken some of the hardships he's faced and used them to force him into independence and building something that would actually fuel his ambitions. And so after hearing this, I knew that I had the right guy. He was young, he was hungry, and he had something to fight for. So now it was time to actually discuss what we were building. Damon came to me with a couple ideas, and we narrowed it down to one that we both really liked. Damon shared with me something that I thought was super interesting. Kids at his school were going to different restaurants, cafes, bookstores, etc., and creating content when they would go that would end up blowing up and having other kids from the surrounding schools to then go flood those locations. Now, to most high schoolers, they probably wouldn't think much of this, but Damon thought a little bit deeper. What me and Damon both know is that there's something called content rewards, or UGC content. The concept of content rewards is pretty simple. Essentially, businesses will create campaigns and set a CPM, cost per 1,000 views, and that will then determine how much creators are paid based on view performance. So hundreds, if not thousands of creators can sign up for a campaign, and if they follow the criteria of the campaign and post across different social medias, they can rack up views, which ultimately can make them money. I'm sure a lot of you watching are very familiar with platforms like WAP that make this really accessible for big creators and brands. But the thing is that nobody was doing what Damon saw at his high school. And so the idea was simple. How can we turn what WAP and some of these big content rewards platforms have done for the big brands and creators, but do that on a much lower scale for local businesses, local gyms, anything that's basically local in communities that regular people can go and create content around to create a buzz. And what I like about this idea is it follows one of my key rules for coming up with ideas, which is that you do not want to reinvent the wheel. You want to take things that are already working and slightly re-angle it or slightly change it to make it your own. And that's exactly what we're doing here. We're taking content rewards, which is a very popular thing for big businesses, big brands, and we're doing it on a different scale. We're helping a different audience accomplish the same goal, which is trying to drive more sales, more views, more revenue into the store. Over the next few episodes, we are going to be showing you everything, every single step that we take in order to go from an idea that we have on paper all the way into building and launching it into real paying users. And our goal is simple. Can we get a validated revenue generating app in the next 30 days. And ultimately, this could change a 17-year-old's life. A kid that's in high school that's been waiting for his chance to finally have that business pop off. So there are 3 simple rules we are gonna follow for this challenge. The first is that Damon is the founder, I'm just the guide. Ultimately, I wanna help Damon create this company on his own, but I'm going to be there at every single step of the way to help him. Number 2 is we are only going to utilize AI tools like Lovable to build this product. And number 3, we have to get real paying users to validate this idea to make sure that we actually found an idea that will work. So I have nothing left to say. This could either be a total flop, or you may witness us build a really successful company. You'll just have to wait and see. In episode 2, we'll start narrowing down the product and start defining what we call a PRD document, which helps define the exact product we're building. And then we'll take you right into our development phase of building in Lovable and ultimately getting it to a point where we think it's ready to bring in front of users. I hope you stick around for the journey. Click subscribe if you want to be notified for every video. And with that being said, I'll see you in next week's video. Cheers.